Imagine yourself in the midst of a raging storm at sea. Colossal waves rise like living walls. Thunder tears through the sky like the roar of a lion, and darkness engulfs everything like an endless abyss. In the heart of this chaos, a man struggles to stay on his feet on the deck of a ship that groans and creaks as if it were alive. And then he is thrown overboard. The cold is piercing. Despair takes hold. He sinks deeper and deeper until from the depths a colossal shadow emerges. A titanic creature, a beast of the abyss, swallows him whole. But this is no ordinary tale. This is the story of Jonah, a man who defied the voice of God and was swallowed not only by a great fish, but by fate itself. Who was Jonah, really? A rebellious prophet? An ordinary man trying to escape his calling? Or an enigmatic figure whose actions echo profound mysteries of faith, repentance, and divine purpose? Today we embark on this journey. We will dive deep into his story, explore the hidden layers within sacred texts, unravel the mystical aspects surrounding his figure, and discover what his journey still teaches us to this day. Get ready, for this story is far more than it appears. A prophet on the run. To understand Jonah, we must travel back in time, to an era when prophets were the direct voices of God on earth, and entire cities stood on the brink of destruction due to their corruption. Jonah lived in the kingdom of Israel during the 8th century BC, a dark time when God's people were straying further from the path of righteousness. It was then that God chose Jonah for a unique mission, to go to the mighty city of Nineveh, the heart of the Assyrian Empire, and proclaim its impending destruction unless its people repented. But there was a problem. Nineveh was no ordinary city. It was the capital of an empire that had terrorized Israel with brutal wars, devastation, and enslavement. The Assyrians were known for their ruthless cruelty, and Jonah knew it well. How could he, a prophet of Israel, offer redemption to his enemies? The idea was absurd. So Jonah made a drastic decision. Instead of heading to Nineveh, he fled in the opposite direction. Boarding a ship bound for Tarshish, a distant and mysterious city, he sought to escape his divine calling. But fleeing from God is impossible. A storm like no other. The sea revolted. A violent storm arose, and the terrified sailors realized something supernatural was at play. They cast lots to find the culprit, and Jonah was chosen. Jonah knew there was no escape. With a resigned look, he confessed, "I am a Hebrew, and I fear the Lord, the God of heaven, who made the sea and the dry land." He understood that the storm was a consequence of his defiance, and in an act of desperation and surrender, he asked the sailors to throw him into the sea. What happened next defied all human logic. In the raging waters, Jonah did not drown. He was swallowed by a great fish, or something beyond human comprehension. And there, in the belly of the creature, he remained for 3 days and 3 nights. A descent into the abyss. Now, the question is, what really happened in that abyss? Imagine utter darkness, the air scarce, the muffled sound of a colossal heart echoing within the depths of a living abyss. Jonah was not just inside a fish. He was between life and death, on the threshold between this world and something far greater. The Bible states that he remained there for 3 days and 3 nights. But what if this story was not merely about a physical event? What if the belly of the great fish was a metaphor for something much deeper? In many Jewish and Christian traditions, Jonah's experience is likened to a descent into Sheol, the realm of the dead, as if Jonah had truly died and undergone a process of rebirth. He was a man who had sunk into the depths, faced his own soul, and emerged transformed. Inside the creature, Jonah did what he had not done before. He called upon God. In his prayer, recorded in the book of Jonah, he recognized his error, admitted his weakness, and surrendered entirely to the divine will. Only then, after this moment of total surrender, did the great fish spit him out onto dry land. And what happened next was almost ironic. God repeated his command, "Arise, go to Nineveh, and preach against it." This time Jonah obeyed. A city's redemption, a prophet's wrath. Jonah walked through the streets of Nineveh and proclaimed, "In 40 days Nineveh will be destroyed." But something unexpected happened. The people of Nineveh, including their king, listened to the message and repented. In an unprecedented act, the entire city put on sackcloth, fasted, and cried out for mercy. And God forgave them. But Jonah was not pleased. On the contrary, he was furious. He did not want Nineveh to be saved. He wanted divine justice to consume his enemies. So God taught him one final lesson. While Jonah rested outside the city, God made a plant grow to provide him with shade. But the next day, God caused it to wither. Jonah, indignant, lamented over the plant, and God responded, "You had compassion for the plant, which cost you nothing. And I? Should I not have compassion on Nineveh, a city of more than 120,000 people who cannot tell their right hand from their left?" And then the story ends. No response from Jonah, no traditional conclusion, as if God's question still echoes to this day. Who are we to decide who deserves divine mercy? The mystery of Jonah. The story of Jonah is far more than a simple tale of a runaway prophet and a great fish. It is a powerful metaphor about humanity's struggle with divine calling, about the pride that keeps us from accepting grace, and about the profound mystery of God's mercy. In Judaism, Jonah is seen as a symbol of God's relationship with all nations, not just Israel. His story challenges the idea of an exclusive God, revealing that divine compassion extends even to the cruelest of enemies. In Christianity, his journey is often interpreted as a parallel to the death and resurrection of Christ. Just as Jonah spent 3 days in the belly of the great fish, Jesus spent 3 days in the tomb before rising again. But there is something even deeper in this story. Jonah was not just running from God, he was running from himself. He did not want to be a prophet to the Assyrians. He did not want to see his enemies forgiven. He wanted justice, not mercy. And that struggle resonates to this day. How often do we want God to act according to our own desires? How often do we resist the call we feel in our souls because it leads us to places we do not want to go? Jonah represents all of us when we try to hide from what we are truly meant to do.